All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday watch list. Let me keep this one very short and simple, although I do think it is a very, very interesting week. So let's get right into it, right? This week we have PPI on Tuesday, big economic report. CPI on Wednesday, big economic report that can move the market. Initial jobless claims on Thursday. Now, all of these are before the market opens. So usually you will have a pre-market reaction. So if you're swinging from Monday to Tuesday, or if you're swinging from Tuesday to Wednesday, just know that it could be a little bit riskier since these reports are going to come out and they can change your position. But from a technical standpoint, let's get right into the charts. Those are some of the main. I don't think we have nothing Friday. Consumer sentiment, 7 a.m. Friday, Pacific Standard Time. So right into the charts. This is SPY, right? First question I want to ask myself is what is the current trend? Let's get rid of all the indicators. Current trend we are still on a downtrend. We have a high, a lower high, and we have the trend line, which is pretty high. It's going to be like around here, right? Nearest areas of supply and demand is going to be this level here. Also, look, SPY has this left head and right. This area here would be the neckline, and we've broken below it. So I am waiting for a retest of that head and shoulders neckline, very similar to our Sunday watch list with QQQ that had a very similar setup to this, right? Setup to this. So coming into this week, this level here, this 537 to 538, or even almost like 540, but not really like that area right there. So I'm gonna highlight this zone here. I'll highlight the zone here. There's going to be a supply zone that I will be paying very close attention to here, that I will be looking for a rejection if we get in there, right? And this is also like a bear flag right here on the SPY 4-hour chart, right? This is like a bear flag here, and bear flagging right into a level of supply. This level from back here, this 524 is going to be a key level, and this 531.3. Right? These are my two levels to the downside that if we hold below these, I think we see room back down into 518. And then this 510, 508 area from back here. So notice how this is a huge level of demand back here. And we bounce once, twice, three times. We reject over here. And we catch another bounce here at 508 to 510. So these are my very, very key important levels to watch this week. Mainly this 538 and mainly this 538. Now we have to be open-minded, right? I'm gonna go to the daily chart. On the daily chart, this is also something I see. The head and shoulders looks a lot cleaner on the daily chart, as you can see, right? Left, head, right, neckline, retest. So very interested in that. As we're coming up to retest this level on the daily, the volume is decreasing. Signs of rejection here. The only thing that's more concerning is these higher time frames like the monthly and the weekly that did close a very strong candle on the weekly. Monthly candle still hasn't closed. It's 18 days away. So the weekly candle as of right now did close very bullish. So I'm still open-minded. If we happen to reclaim this 539 area, that is where we can have room up into 542 to 543. This in this area up here, this 548. Now, for me to be very, very confident in longs, I would really need the trend to reverse. So above the trend line in the 548 level, that's for me to be confident back into like 550s, 555s. So it's tough to say right now, especially with all these reports coming out. It's like I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside that we hit 510. Below 531, these are going to be nice levels to trade here on SPY because this was previous resistance here that turned to support. Let's say, for example, we come up here, right? We start to reject. Say you miss it, you're a little bit patient, but then we end up falling below the 531. We can then use this level as like a nice resistance level to short it down into 524, which is also a huge level of resistance from back here. And if we fall below that, back down to 518. So you could take it level to level. Swinging may be a little bit risky. I think the opportunity looks great, but it's just the news reports, right? It's from a technical standpoint, I think we look great. That's gonna be it for SPY. I'm not interested in any bounces unless we get down into this 510 area. Yeah, 510 is gonna be that big bounce area if we get there. Anything below 510, it's 500. So keeping an open mind. Going into QQ, don't want to keep this too long. QQQ here, very, very similar. We are on a downtrend. We have a high, we have a lower high, lower highs. And now these are the two zones I'm going to be watching, right? From back here. I have supply here. I have demand down here. Supply and demand, keeping it simple. Currently, we are trying to get a break above this supply here. So therefore, the next area of supply, if we push above that, really is like this 455, 59 area to like, yeah, kind of like that area right there, really. Because look what happens here last time. We bounce here, we bounce here. And it's also kind of like in confluence with that trend line. But look at this. If we're looking at this from a trend perspective, right? This is a low, a lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. So notice what happens here when these lower lows break below. So this lower low broke below. What did it do? It came and retested it as resistance. This lower low broke below. Can we come and test it as resistance here? Right? And it's in confluence with the previous area of demand, which was here, and kind of like this trend line. So just some things to look out for this week. On the daily chart, that's also like there's like a little gap fill here. So if this comes and fills the gap, doesn't end up holding above that area, it can be a nice reject area. Um, but we can trade this level to level too. But look how it's coming up as well. It's kind of like a bear flag, right? It's like a bear flag. And notice how the volume is decreasing as we're going higher. So something to be very aware of for this week. Of course, we have to be open-minded, like I said. So let's say we happen to reclaim that 455 level. I can definitely see us get a move up into 468. And anything above 468, that's where I'm bullish. That's where I feel like, okay, this is, above the trend line, reclaiming, and we can start pushing back up into these highs here at 475, 484. That's if things get strong. Now, let's say you missed the reject at 455 and we come to this area here at 449, this rejection here, and the bear flag plays out, us getting back below this supply here is going to be an amazing reject level if we stay below it. So you can catch us back down to 534. The market is very volatile now. These ranges are they're wide, these are big ranges. So we have to be aware of, the volatility in the markets and trade level to level to just manage your risk very properly. So that's gonna be SPY and Qs, keeping it very simple with those. I give you guys the scenarios for the upside, downside, which side I'm more biased on, and heading into other names. Apple was one of the strong names this week, even though it is coming up with decreasing volume. On the weekly, closed out a very strong candle. 200 was a very big psychological level, held up very well. So I'll be watching this trend line here and this 225 level. If it reclaims that, that is where I'll be bullish. As long as it stays below that, then I think, back below the 210 area can get us back down into 200. So just something to pay attention to. One of my favorite setups coming into the week is Amazon. I was talking about this in our last Sunday watch list. Still just bear flagging after earnings. Caught a nice move down. Bear flagging into a level of supply, which is this 175. So this is a bear flag here. And our last area of demand was here. Notice how this is supply, demand, demand. Now that we're below it, it can turn to supply, this 175 area. So we're also coming up on decreasing volume, an area that I'm interested in for a rejection here on Amazon. So it's also kind of like a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, retest, break below, retest if we come to it for a move lower. One of my favorite setups coming to this week. I really like this one. Individual names, if we continue, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, as of right now, is consolidating between 97 and 108. Let's take a look at it, right? 108.60 seems to be a level that keeps rejecting multiple times. 97 seems a level to be holding pretty strong as well. The 97 to 100 psychological area. So I'm waiting for a break and retest out of one of these two levels. If we get below 97, 98, we have room back down to 90. If we get above 108, we have room to 115. The trend is still towards the downside, so there's multiple scenarios here. We could continue to reject back down to 90, or pop up and then reject back down. I'm not bullish until we get above 115 for a move back into the 120s. So that is my game plan on Nvidia, keeping it very simple as well, right? Kind of trading from 108 to 97 for the past 4 days. So that is what I'm watching on Nvidia. AMD as well. Main levels to watch is going to be this 133 to see if it holds or not. And this trend line, not my favorite setup, but if I want to be bearish, I'd say below, I don't know, like this 133 area seems like a good level, but not my favorite setup as of right now. Not my favorite setup as of right now. So I'll probably disregard this one. But the 130, 133.4 is a great level to go back down to like the 116. And this trend line right here is kind of what's holding us up. So 116 is a big bounce level too. Look at the bounce we got from 116 all the way up into 140. So we know that's a big level. If we happen to get below 116, I'm confident in this going to 100. So just some scenarios, right? Just some scenarios. Above 140, let's probably start pushing higher. Not my favorite setup. Tesla, I do like Tesla. Key levels is going to be 200 to 205, as it was a big resistance from back here. Resistance. So if we happen to get a clean break and hold above this, I could see us pushing higher into these trend lines, the 220s. Something to pay attention to. Stay below that 200, back down to 181, and below 181 gives us room down into 170s to 167. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's gonna be a very interesting week. Could get very volatile, and we have to stay open-minded this week. We have to stay open-minded this week. Another side watch. These are going to be side watches here now. We have Netflix. I don't want to make this video too long. Netflix on a downtrend in a level of supply here, the 640. If it continues to reject this trend line, stay below, we have room back down. FedEx, like I said, these are side watches. Now, this FedEx one I actually do kind of like though. FedEx has a huge gap fill down to 255. We had a left, ahead, a right, and this is more like a sideways neckline in a way. It's more like a sideways head and shoulders. You see, it's not picture perfect. But even if this would be the neckline, they retested it here at 290. And we broke below, retested. So I want to see us stay below the start of the gap, which is like 282, 285, for a continued move to fill the gap down to 260, right? Every time we get to this area, we reject back down to 255, 260 every single time. So it is a setup that I'm interested in as well. So other than that, guys, that's gonna be the Sunday watch list. Keep it pretty short, fairly simple. Don't wanna just spy cues are gonna be my main watches. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to join the free broadcast channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys feel like this helps you guys. And thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great trading week. Peace.